I'd like to show you a demonstration of a rotation tessellation. Last time I recorded one of these demonstrations, I talked about translation tessellations. So this one is a little bit more complex and kind of fun. If you remember, a tessellation is really just any sequence or series of shapes that are repeating, and they fit together so they have a tiling. These aren't exactly the same, but you get the idea, is that all these shapes fit together. And last time I talked about how you could take a square or a rectangle and cut out a piece from one side and translate it to the other side, tape it down, and get this cool new shape that when you use this as a template and trace around it, you can repeat it in a grid-like fashion and get kind of really interesting patterns. So in a rotation tessellation, we want to work with a square, and I'll show you how to make a perfect square with a piece of paper. And the reason we want a square is because instead of translating the pieces, we're going to be rotating. So we'll still cut out something. So maybe we'll do something like this. And instead of moving it across, we're going to rotate it about this point, 90 degrees. And we're going to go this way. So we're going to rotate it. And when we do that, it'll end up being something, I didn't get it quite right, but something like that. We're going to cut this out, cut this piece out, rotate it, and then tape it. So it kind of goes this way. Likewise, in the opposite side, we can cut out another piece. So when we cut that out, we're going to rotate it around this angle, 90 degrees. So this time we're going to go this way. So it kind of goes like that. And then we'll probably get something that looks kind of like this. And when we look at the shape here that is taped with those new pieces, it's kind of a cool shape. And when we use this as a template and trace around it and then repeat it, instead of going in a grid, because we've rotated it, it's going to do this kind of cool swirly thing and basically rotate around. And this was a technique that it's based on like Islamic design and art, and then MC Escher also did a lot, and it's been kind of a popular way to make some cool patterns. So this is what we're gonna do today. So let's see, first starting off, I wanna make sure you have all the right equipment. So nice pen to draw with. You'll want to have some scissors. You can also use an X-Acto knife too, if that is your preference. But I like these little scissors a lot. And then a straight edge can help as well. And very important, tape to tape those little pieces on. So now if you have all your stuff around, oh yeah, and then the other thing that you're gonna want is some paper that's a little bit thicker than regular paper. So index cards work really well, and these are just kind of cheapo index cards, and I'm gonna work with one of these to make my template. So like I was saying before, we want to have a square. Obviously this isn't a square, and we don't want it to be super huge. So I would suggest maybe I'm going to use a straight edge to start to cut out a smaller square. And to do that, I'm going to just draw a reference line, and then cut it out. Okay, so now clearly this is not a square, and in order to get a square, so maybe, let's see, maybe I'll use this one. It's not perfect for sure, but the trick is all you have to do is fold a diagonal line and make sure that you're going at 90 degrees, which you can do by going diagonally, and match two of the edges together perfectly. so you have a nice straight line on one side. So you can see here, I've got something that's not a square, but if I cut off all this extra on the edge, it is going to be a perfect square. So you can actually see it bows out a little bit, so I'm gonna just trim it a bit like that. May not be completely perfect, but I think it'll be good enough for what we need. So when I unfold it, I now have something that is the same size on all the edges. That's geometry. Okay, so now we have our piece of paper that we're going to use to make our rotation tessellation template. And so again, we're going to be cutting out pieces from two opposite sides and rotating them 90 degrees. And so you could just freehand it. I'm going to draw a little bit, maybe something like that. Notice I'm going to the edges, and you don't technically have to, but to do the rotation, it's way easier if you do. So I would recommend doing that. And then, all right, let's see, what do we want to do for this one? Let's try something maybe more like that. So they're sort of opposites. All right, now I'm going to cut these out, and then I'm going to do the rotation. Okay, so I've got the pieces cut out, and now I'm going to do the rotation and taping to finish the template that we'll use. So here you can see I've got two pieces, and I'm going to rotate the top one 90 degrees this way and tape it this way. And this one, I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees this way and tape it this way. And then we'll have to trim the tape. Okay, so here is the taped together template for our rotation tessellation. And so I'm gonna grab my paper and start tracing it out. And I'm gonna start with a thin pen just to do the tracing and the outlining. And I think I'm gonna start kind of near the middle, because basically what's gonna happen is I outline this and I rotate it 90 degrees. And I think, oh, I'm actually gonna rotate it based on this part. Then the different design will start to flow from the middle. And so we just start tracing. The tape actually helps make it be a little bit more sturdy. And it's okay if you're not completely perfect, because we can fudge some. Okay, so there's the first one, and I'm going to rotate it, and you see how it almost fits properly, not quite. If you get lost and you're not sure where to go, you can kind of just play around and figure out where it fits, kind of like a puzzle. So I'm going to do my best to try and get it to match. And you can see where the last one is going to go, right in here. It's kind of satisfying. Now it's not perfect again, it's all right, as long as it's kind of close. So now I'm done with my basic outline. I could have done this in pencil too, probably, but it doesn't look like much. But now we can look at it and decide what does it want to be. And I think for this part, it's easier to take a big brush pen like this. I have this dual brush set, so it's thin on one side and brush on the other, and I really like to use that. It makes this kind of fast and works pretty well. Let's see, so I'm just going to start outlining more. You can even keep going. Makes it kind of fun. So it kind of feels like this wants to be a wing, and maybe this is like a little mouth and an eye. And maybe something like this. This can be a back leg, that can be a front leg. And maybe, yeah, the wing can go like this, all the way up here. Maybe a tail. Maybe a little bit more definition. Kind of looks like he's doing a little flying thing. Give him a little bit of a round thing there. Kind of cool. Okay, so I'm going to repeat this for all the different parts. All right, so this is the finished piece. I could have continued to go bigger and build it out, and you can see it could be kind of a cool wallpaper, but it's got this really cool kind of spiral situation going, and it does tricks with your eyes. And so this is what it looks like. I think it's pretty cool. Little kind of griffin sort of some things. I don't know what they are exactly. So that's all I have. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration of rotation tessellation, and maybe I'll do some more in the future. I hope you have a good day. Thanks a lot. Bye.